Hello everybody and welcome to this video lesson about sketch exercise number 1. In this video lesson I would like to show you how to apply the sketch relations or the constraints that we have learned in the previous video lesson. Remember we said when we do 3D modeling there are 3 rules we have to keep in mind while we are doing 3D modeling. The first rule, which I called it the golden rule, in which we said we have to take care about the shape first, the shape of our geometry, and then we control our geometry by adding or applying constraints or sketch relations, and then finally we accurately specify the size of our geometry. Okay, and I have demonstrated this exercise. So we said here we take care about the shape roughly, and then we apply some sketch relations to get the to control the geometry of our part or model, and then we apply the dimensions to get it fully defined. So everything should be in black color. The second rule is always to relate our sketch to the origin. It has to be given with respect to the origin point. Okay, and then the third rule is never do any 3D operations, never do any 3D modeling operations unless you have your sketch fully defined. Everything should be in black color. All right, so let's get started with sketch exercise number 1. This is the sketch exercise number 1, which is a shear plate, and it is given in metric units, and we would like to complete the sketch of this shear plate in SolidWorks. By the way, this exercise is available on Slate. If you go to Slate and then you go to the folder which is called Any Class Exercises, okay, so this is exercise number 1, shear plate. So sketching exercise number 1, shear plate. All right, so just go to Slate and then go to folder Any Class Exercises, and then you will find all the tutorials and the exercises that I'm going to create during this semester. All right, so let's get started. First of all, I'm going to start new part file. So new part file. Okay, I change the background color to plain white. And since this exercise is given in metric units, I'm going to change the units from here to millimeter gram second, metric units. All right, and I'm going to start the sketch on front plane. It doesn't matter actually. In this case, it doesn't matter whether you sketch it on front plane, top plane, or right plane. Okay, so I'm going just to pick the front plane and then a sketch. Here we are. Now we are in the editing sketch. Remember, we have 3 indicators that tell us that we are in the editing sketch mode. The message here in the status bar, the origin point, and the confirmation corner on the top right corner. All right, so I'm going to apply the 3 rules that we have learned. First, I'm going to take care about the shape, roughly the shape, okay? And then I will start my sketch at the origin point. So this is rule number 2. I have to relate my sketch to the origin point. And also, I'm going to get the sketch fully defined by adding some relations, sketch relations or constraints, and then dimensions. All right. So I'm going to start line command. You can start line command from here or from here. Actually, I prefer to hide the sketch toolbar from the command manager since I have it already here on the right side of the screen. All right, remember, because we are going to toggle between sketch and feature, so I need both features manager and the sketch toolbar to be on my screen simultaneously at the same time. Okay, so line. And then I will start at the origin. Okay, remember, I need here a horizontal line, so you can see this yellow icon, which indicates that this line will be automatically horizontal, forced to be horizontal. Okay, then roughly I will draw a line with angle. Roughly it could be, it should be 135 degrees, but later I'm going to add the exact value. So roughly I'm going to create the shape, something like this. Okay, then I have this line. Then roughly, if you want to turn off the automatic sketch relation, you can just press and hold Control key. Okay, because sometimes it is tedious. It will add some relation that we don't need it. So press and hold Control key if you want to turn off the add relationships automatically mode. Then I need a line like this. Then a line like this. It's just roughly the shape of our part. Then I'm going to pick the origin point again. Okay, hit escape to exit from the line command. Okay, so as you can see, this is our part. This is our part. So I roughly started here at this point, and then I went in this direction counterclockwise to complete the geometry. So this is roughly the shape of my part. Now I'm going to add, if you have dimensions, now I'm going to add dimensions and some relations to get the sketch, controlled, under control. So I will add angles first. So we need here 135 degrees, 150, 120, and so on, all around. So I will add the angles first, and then we add the dimension, which is given here. So AB, for example, is 94, BC is 40, and so on. So let's start with angle. To add angle, first of all, I can say zoom to fit, like this. And then from Smart Dimension, I will activate the Smart Dimension command. Okay, and then simply we click on this line, and then this line, and then immediately it turns to the angle dimension. So we click, and then we'll get this modify dialog box, and then I will enter 135 degrees. Press enter. Similarly, the angle between this line and this line is to be 150 degrees. 150 degrees. Then between this line and this line, we need 120 degrees. The angle here should be 105. So we go all around and add all these angles, because this will control the geometry of our part. 105 here. This angle here, we need 150. 150 degrees. The angle between this line and this line is to be 90 degrees. I can add 90 degrees, or I can add perpendicular relation later. So I will skip it and then enter here. We need 60 degrees. Right. Then hit escape to exit from the Smart Dimension. Then I'm going to press and hold Control key and select this line and this line and add perpendicular relation. Perfect. Now our geometry is under control, so I'm ready to add the dimensions. So again, Smart Dimension, and this line here we need 94. Okay, don't worry when your sketch maybe collapsed, don't worry, you just proceed with your dimension. Then for this line, which is BC, we need 40. So be careful. You can add horizontal, maybe, and vertical, and align dimension. We need this dimension, the align dimension, which is parallel to the line. So to keep this parallel or align dimension, you just right click and drag your mouse. Then you enter BC 40. Okay. Then this line, which is CD 35. I need this line to be, again, I right click and then left click and enter CD to be 35 millimeter. Okay, we can zoom, or we can press and hold Control key and then pan my sketch. Then for this line, remember, be careful, it's not the vertical distance, it is this distance. So the align distance. So right click and then drag your mouse. Then left click, and DE is to be 57. Maybe zoom to fit. Okay. Then I need EF. EF is 87. So click this line and we need 87. This line, FG 61. Then GH is 48, this line here. But be careful, please, it is not the vertical distance, it is the align distance. So right click and drag your mouse. So GH is 48. Then we have HJ, this line, 85. Then JK, be careful, it is not this distance, this is wrong, it is this distance, the align distance. So right click and drag your mouse. Then we enter JK is 53. The last line, we don't need to add any dimension. Why? Because actually it is fully defined, because it goes to the origin point. So now, as you can see, all the lines turns from blue color to black color, which means they are fully defined. We have sufficient information about the sketch. So as you can see here in the status bar, the message is fully defined. It is fully defined. All right. Now let us have a look on our part one more time. What else we need to do? We have two holes. So this hole and this hole. This hole is of diameter 15 millimeter. And the center point is aligned with this end point, right? And it is 24 away from the x-axis, right? Our origin point is here, all right? So it's exactly on y-axis, and it is 24 away from the x-axis in y direction. The other circle is phi 17, and it is 73 away from center to center in x direction. This circle is 73 mm away from this center point. Okay, so in order to get them fully defined, I need the diameter, I need the how far from the origin, and I need how far from center to center. So we have to satisfy all these things. So I'm going to draw a circle. So roughly it should be here. When you see this dotted line, it means now you are aligned with the origin point in x direction. So just draw a circle and another circle somewhere here. Okay. First of all, I'm going to say, okay, this center point is aligned vertically with the origin. So I will press and hold Control key, pick the center point and the origin, and add vertical relation. They have to be aligned vertically, right? And then the next thing is the diameter of the circle is to be 15 mm. Okay, still this circle is blue. What is missing is how far from the origin in y direction. So once I add the dimension between the center point and the origin in y direction, which is a 24 mm, the circle turns to black color. Now it is fully defined. Why? Because I have all the information, all the necessary information to define this circle. Okay, what else? This circle here, still blue. Why it is blue? If you click on the center point and drag it, it is free. So we don't know how far it is from the origin. Another thing is, how big is this circle? Also, we don't know. So that's why we need to add some constraints. So first of all, the diameter of this circle is to be 17 mm. Also, the center point of this circle and the center point of this circle, they have to be aligned horizontally. All right? And the distance from center to center is to be 73. That's all we need. That's why now it turns to black. Again, my sketch is fully defined. All right? So the last thing that we need to do on this shear plate is to sketch a slot here. All right? So the slot, let us have a look on the slot. The slot is 24 mm length, radius, diameter is 19, right? So radius is 9.5, and also it is 30 degrees from the center line that goes from center to center. Okay, this center line is parallel to this edge. So I'm going to draw a center line, give it a parallel relation with this edge, give it a length of 81, and then this center line will be our reference to sketch the slot. All right, so let's do it. So I need center line first. From this center, it goes somehow to here. Then, as you can see, this center line is blue, which means it is underdefined. We don't have sufficient information about it. It could be like this, it could be like this, it could be like... So, first of all, this center line is parallel to this edge. So I'm going to add parallel relation. And now it turns to black. Only the end point is blue. Why? Because still I don't know how much the length of this line. So once I add dimension, this blue dot will turn to black. So if I say, okay, this center line is 81 mm. Okay, now everything is black. And again, my sketch is fully defined. So now I'm ready to draw this slot here. So we have very nice group here of slots. I can draw a straight slot. We can draw center point straight slot, 3-point arc slot, and so on. The first one is actually what we need. So straight slot. All right. And I'm going to start at this point. Then I draw a line like this. And then we drag to specify the diameter of this slot. Okay. So first of all, the angle between this slot and this center line is 30 degrees. Slowly we will get it fully defined. And the width or the diameter of the slot is 19 as it is given. Okay, what else? You see, I have only this part of the slot blue, which means I'm missing the length of the slot. So once we specify the length of the slot, it will be fully defined. But be careful, it is not the vertical distance like this. No, you have to be parallel to the center line of the slot, and then right click and then drag your mouse. Then you add the dimension, which is in this case 24 mm. 24 mm. All right. So my sketch is fully defined now. And everything looks good. I can hide sketch relation. We can hide dimension. All right. So from this hide show items drop down list, we can show dimension or sketch relation. Sometimes the sketch get busy, so I need to understand my sketch, so I turn off my sketch relation or dimension like this. Okay, but now the sketch is fully defined, as you can see, and it is ready for any 3D operation. For example, I can extrude it, let's say 5 millimeter, 10 millimeter or 5 millimeter. Then we just click OK. So now the shear plate is completed. Front plane, top plane, right side plane, isometric. You can press and hold the middle wheel of your mouse and then rotate your part and have a look from different angles. All right, so that completes this video. Thanks for watching, and I will be talking to you very soon. Bye for now.